Hello, hello, hello. We're doing unusual questions today. They don't have to be necessarily unusual so long as they're not necessarily book related or anything related that I normally answer questions about. So I asked people on Instagram to give me some questions and they gave me some questions. One of these days I'll do another sit down video where I discuss something that you guys want me to talk about. So if you want me to talk about anything book related, pop it in the comments here or on my Facebook page, I suppose, or an Instagram, anywhere that I'm out there on the internet. Put down what you would like me to talk about. Last time I think I was talking about 10 ways to get your first book written, and that was a lot of fun for me as well, particularly since I already had done that particular talk elsewhere, so it was very easy to replicate that. But yeah, if you just pop something down in the comments, let me know what you want me to talk about. I'll probably do another Facebook Live as we come up to the publication of Between Kings, which is very exciting for me. But for now, onward to the unusual questions, which I have written down here. So if I'm not looking at you, excuse me, I'm looking at the questions. I can't remember this many questions. Danny Bridges has about 4 questions straight up, because I just sort of screen captured these, so that's why. Danny asks, what's the most disgusting thing you've eaten on your travels and what is the best? The most disgusting one is a really tame thing. It was this, I went to this, I think it was Vietnamese toast place, and I'd heard that it was really, really good and the cafe looked really, really gorgeous. So I was like, yeah, I will give this a try. I like toast. I like French toast. Surely Vietnamese toast will also be very, very extremely good. And it was very extremely not good. It was like batter covered cardboard with like fake vanilla taste underneath. It's been a long time since I've tasted something that disgusting. I'm very sorry if you're either Vietnamese or a Vietnamese toast lover, but I did not enjoy it. It was the first place I've been to where I actually couldn't finish more than a couple of bites. I had to leave the entire thing there. I felt so bad. I was so tempted. I don't know if this is just me or if other people do this as well. I was really tempted to just undo my drink and put the stuff in there and carry it out with me so that people wouldn't have to know how appalling I found the taste of this toast. I felt so bad, but unfortunately the drink was also extremely disgusting and I didn't want to disgrace myself more by throwing up. I have a thing about textures, and both the toast and the drink were of the kind of texture that is inclined to make me throw up, or at least to dry retch, and yeah, I didn't want to really disgrace myself more than I already had by leaving a whole plate full of food and walking out. So yeah, that was the most disgusting. The best was also something really, really simple. I was recommended to try salguksu, which surprisingly enough, okay, this was while I was in Korea. Salguksu is Vietnamese pho or pho. I don't know how you pronounce it. I asked a Vietnamese lady I know, and I tried to do it and then I forgot. So anyway, they call it salguksu in Korea, and it's been my favorite thing to date. It's not very spicy, though you can spice it up with a little bit of their hot sauce, which I really recommend. In the one that I got, there's beef in there, like really thin shredded beef, and you can dip that in your hot sauce and it's so good. It's a really, really simple sort of brothy beef thing with lots and lots of noodles. And the place I went there every week, so they started giving me service, like the girl that was there would always give me a couple of extra things to eat with it, and also they give you free noodle refills in the soup. So yeah, it was just really easy on my stomach. It was so delicious and just really simple. So that was my favourite thing. It also had, what are those things called? Bean sprouts on top of it, and bean sprouts are one of my favourite things to eat as well. They make me feel good, they taste good, they look kind of weird. I mean, you can't really ask for more than that. Danny also asks, what's the weirdest thing that has happened to you? I'm going to be honest, a lot of very weird things happen to me, not necessarily on a day-to-day basis, but if I go out, So I don't know why, but I'm the sort of person who, when they go out, whether it's, to the city or to another country, you can absolutely guarantee that I'm going to be approached by at least one weirdo. And it's usually more than one weirdo. I'm a weirdo magnet. I don't know why. I don't understand it. I don't particularly like it. But it happens a lot. So a few of the things that have happened, one of them happened when I was a bit younger. We used to go to op shops all the time for our clothes because we couldn't afford new clothes. And we would go there because you could fill a bag for $5 when I was a kid. So that was clothes shopping done. We didn't get new stuff. We went to the op shop. We loved it. We did not feel deprived at all. But at op shops, you can sometimes find some unusual people. And when we were in Mackay, we found them. Or rather, they found me. And there was this old bloke in there, and he maybe was on something. If not, he was just a dodgy old man. And he just comes up to me half buttoned, like his shirt was half buttoned up and half unbuttoned. And I, mind you, was about 12, no, I must have been older, maybe 15 at the time. And he just says to me, "Can you help button me up?" And I was just like, okay, no, I don't think my dad would like that. And he just looks at me and goes, "I am your dad. I'm your Father, Son, and Holy Spirit." Dude, I was really freaked out. But I've had stuff like that happen all the time. I just meet really weird people. But the most enjoyable weird thing that has happened, I don't remember if I've told you guys this or not. One day I was in Sydney at the train station, and I was just sitting there waiting for the train, as you do at a train station. And I looked across the platform after a train had gone by, and there was just... Okay, do you guys know how musketeers look? How they've got the boots, and they've got the cape flowing back, and the hat, right? So this guy had the hat. He had the cloak longer than a musketeer cape. It was a proper cloak. And it was just billowing out, and he had like the most sort of swashbuckling outfit underneath. And I saw him for just a second, like his cloak was billowing out in the wind, his feather in his hat was going back. And then a train came past again, and he was gone. As soon as the train was gone, he was gone. I still to this day have no idea if he was a real dude and that was a show and somebody was pranking me, or if he ducked and rolled and got out of the way, or if I just imagined it. I still have no idea, but it was very, very cool, and it was very, very weird. So yeah, I have lots of things like that, but that was the most fun one. Danny also asked, what's the most memorable location you visited? Oh, that's really hard, because whenever I go somewhere that's really amazing and really, really cool, that sort of becomes the next most memorable place that I've been to, because in the moment I just really, really enjoy it. And so it sort of eats up my memories for the next, very long time. I can't think of one in particular, though. My memory in general is not the best anyway. But yeah, I don't think I actually have a most memorable one, because when I'm at a place that's very cool, yeah, it just becomes the next really memorable place. Danny also asked, what is the current theme song for your life? At the moment, I've been listening to a lot of Lindsay Sterling as I do my writing. So I've got two at the moment, and one of them is the one she did with, what's that other girl's name? It's called Shatter Me anyway. Shatter Me and Love's Just a Feeling. Those are my two current theme songs, I guess. Yeah, I'm going with that. I really, really like them. They're lovely songs. Favourite food, asks Becca. Favourite food is apple pie. Always has been, always will be. I have other loves when it comes to food. I have many other loves when it comes to food. I, in general, just really enjoy food. But apple pie is, right at the top. I love apple pie the most. This one's not exactly unrelated or weird. I mean, favourite food wasn't weird either, but we did that one. So Ella O wants to know, will Gingell make an appearance in the spin-off series? Yes, he will. He will actually probably make an appearance in both of the spin-off series. The first spin-off series will be probably a bigger appearance, but we'll see. I know he will appear in both of them, though. Fiona asks, an aspect of your life you haven't incorporated into fiction yet, but want to. Oh. See, I don't always wholesale incorporate things. I take little bits out of here and little bits out of there, stuff that I really, really love. So I'm not entirely sure that, like, there's a lot of my life that I've put into my books. It's just piecemeal in little bits and pieces. So I don't know that there's any that I want to, but haven't yet done. I think I pretty much, as I go, as I think of things as they appear to me to be useful, I use them. So I don't necessarily think ahead. That would make me more of a planner than I am, and I'm definitely not a planner. I just sit down and write. Stories for His Glory asked, what is your favourite treat with tea and coffee? I've talked about this before, and it's still as true today as it was when I talked about it then. I love tea. I also really enjoy coffee, but I can't drink it because the effects are not worth it. So I have a favourite thing to pair with tea, and if you've already heard this before, you'll know it's cheese. I know some people will pair their cheeses with wine. I can't drink wine. I don't like wine unless it's in cooking anyway. But tea and cheese, my goodness, if you get the right match, it's so good. At the moment, I tend to match my Cracker Barrel sharp vintage cheddar with some very nice biscuits and either a quince and champagne paste or a plum and Shiraz paste. And then I have that with my, what's the tea called? It's a T2 tea. All of my teas are basically T2 except for the violet one. And it's Sticky Date Delight, I believe. So the slight sweetness of it and the slight caramelliness of it pairs so beautifully well with the cheese and the sharpness of the cheese and the sweet or poignant sort of taste of the paste. It's perfect. If I'm feeling more like having, say, or a really hearty English breakfast, I'd pair that with a softer cheese. But I also have a violet tea that my sister gave me that I love and I'm very slightly allergic to, so I'm very careful about how I drink it. And that paired with a red Leicester cheese is so good. Because it's a really floral light tea and the red Leicester is quite smooth and clinging in the taste, and it also is quite smoky, so those two match really, really well. The other thing I really love to pair with my tea is I will get my Go-Go-Goa, which is basically a chai blend but more toward the caramel than toward the cinnamon side, and that with the Kinder Little Ones chocolates, like it's just a chocolate this size, and it's got a little bit of white filling on the inside, and it's just delightful. But if you have that with the Go-Go-Goa, both of them are infinitely better. It's one of my favourite things to have as well. So yeah, that's what I do. Rebecca Isaac asks, favourite hairstyle to wear, why? I actually really like the one I've got at the moment, mostly because it's just really, really fun. So if we're talking favourites, this is one of my favourites. Also, I like wearing just the little bit at the front here up and the rest down on days when I don't really have to do anything or go anywhere where my hair will be an annoyance to me. So those are probably my two favourite ways. I've experienced a resurgence of love for braids because they are very, very comfortable and they seem to suit me, so that's nice. So yeah, that's a couple of favourite ones, but in general, what I'm actually going to do in real life is in general just put it up in a bun because it gets it out of my face, it gets it out of the way, and I can go to work without having little bits of hair annoying me, so practicality sort of comes into it as well. Rebecca also asked, what's one food you're scared to try? Pondegi. I really don't want to try pondegi. It's little silkworm pupae. I don't want to do that. I don't think I ever will. I'm also a little bit afraid to try either snails or the live octopus, or I mean it's not really live, it's chopped up but it's still wriggling. But I would try the wriggling octopus before either the snails or the pondegi. I can't do it. I'm not much for crunch in my food, especially when I know that crunch is legs. It just doesn't appeal to me. The same goes for frog legs. If I go to France, I don't think I'm going to try the frog legs. I don't think I'm going to try the snails. I don't think I can. Yeah, I don't think I can bring myself to do it. Again, texture, don't want to disgrace myself. Swirly Ice Cream asks, if you could wake up one day with a completely new ability, skill, or even superpower, what would it be? I'm always going to say fly. I love flying. I don't know what it's like to fly. I dreamed about flying when I was a kid. I used to have so many flying dreams, never got over the feeling of that, and so if I had a superpower, I would want to fly. Also, if people are just talking to you and you want to get away, you can just fly away. You don't have to wait for your car. Bird's eye view. Good grief, I can only imagine the things I could do with photography if I could fly. I don't need a drone. I can fly. I also thought maybe I could fly across the ocean to other countries, but then I'm wondering how much energy that would take, and you also have to carry your luggage, and I think your luggage would be a bit too heavy to want to fly, so planes would probably be easier. Can you imagine flying across the ocean? I'm a superhero, I can fly, but you still have to lug your luggage along with you, and that doesn't really appeal to me, but I still want to fly. I just maybe would take an aeroplane for overseas trips. Yeah. Lynn's Christopher asks, what denomination is the church you attend? We've attended quite a few different denominations as I was growing up, ranging from Baptist to Uniting to Presbyterian to... There's been a few different ones. At the moment, we're at a Free Presbyterian church here in Tassie. Doctrinally, I'm not necessarily aligned with everything that the Presbyterian or Free Presbyterian Church teaches, but then I wasn't completely aligned with all that the Baptist Church or the other churches teach either, so I think doctrinally I'm sort of between Baptist and Free Presbyterian, but I also have a few ideas that are not aligning with either of those. So that's the church we go to, but it's not necessarily my entire alignment of thoughts, but that's okay. We all grow and learn at our own pace, and you don't have to necessarily hold to all the creeds of the church you go to, which is lovely. We've got a lovely pastor too who's always willing to talk about things and discuss things, and even if you don't end up agreeing, you're still obviously free to think the way you want to think, so that's always nice. Danny asks, which of your heroines do you relate to the most? Which do you relate to the least? I have a few of them that I relate well to. Obviously, Pet is one of them. I also relate very strongly to Delicia from Mask. But there's none of them that... Dion from the first Chill of Autumn, I also relate very strongly to, mostly to the fact that she gets very sick and nearly throws up whenever she's anxious, which is, yay, something that I also get. So I try very hard not to be anxious, which doesn't help the anxiety at all. So probably those girls. The one I least relate to? Oh, that's really hard. Because you always put a certain amount of yourself into your characters, I guess, so it's a little bit harder to find characters you don't relate to, even the ones that you write not necessarily as the main characters. So maybe I'll have to come back on that, because I'm not quite sure. What's my favourite romantic comedy? Okay, I know that people are going to tell me that this is not a romantic comedy, but it's one of my favourite romantic comedies, and it's the movie Red. It's also an action movie, but I find it hilarious, and it's also romantic. So that's probably one of my favourites. I also adore My Man Godfrey, the one with Carol Lombard and William Powell. I haven't seen the other one in ages, but yeah, that's one of my favourites. I also... what's the other one? Ah, yes. But... see, romantic comedy is not something I normally watch. I like romance, but not necessarily as the entire story. So in general, I don't read or watch very many romances. And comedy also I enjoy, but I don't usually watch comedies in general. It usually has to be paired with something else to make it enjoyable for me. So it's a little bit hard for me to find that. So I'm going to go with those two ones because they're two of my favourites. I think we've got one more question left. Yes, okay, we've got an actually weird question this time from S.R. Knowlton. If you had to choose between trampolines and balloons, which would you pick and why? Okay, I'm going with trampolines because bouncy castles are still a thing, which is the best part of what a balloon is anyway. And if you fill a bouncy castle with helium, I'm sure you could do the same thing. Also, when you have balloons in the house, I don't know if any of you guys have noticed this, but they make a weird sound. My sister tells me that that's weird and that they don't make a sound, but they do. They make a sound. I can always tell when there's a balloon in the room. And when they're in the car, you can really hear it. It's like a weird staticky kind of silence, and I hate it. You put it up to your ear and it makes you feel like you're gone deaf in that ear. Again, maybe that's just me. Don't really like balloons. Also, they pop, which is a really loud noise, which is kind of irritating. So yeah, I can still have bouncy castles and trampolines. And I can't really go on trampolines these days because I'm old and my back hurts. But I can still get on a bouncy castle. So if I can still have bouncy castles, I don't need balloons. That's okay. We'll be fine. I would rather have, even if it's a celebration, I'd rather have something else other than balloons. I don't like them particularly much. So yeah, okay. That was the last question. I might open up another weird questions discussion video at some stage in the future and see if you guys come up with some very weird questions, which will be a lot of fun. In the meantime, yeah, if you have anything you want me to talk about writing related or advice related with writing, anything like that, just let me know in the comments so that I can think about it for a while and then formulate what I'm going to say and then come on here and my way through all of it anyway. So yeah, it was good to get those questions. I will see you guys later and yeah, have a good day. Bye.